Let's discuss fat shots and how you can avoid them. Now, here in the UK, we're going from winter into spring, and what happens? All the golfers come out and ready to play, and they've been practicing through the winter, and because of all the rain and snow we have, then the golfers end up practicing on the range on mats. And invariably, they're feeling good about their game, they're ready, they're eager, they want to start the season. Now, what often happens is those golfers go out on the golf course, March, April, spring is in the air. The conditions are still quite wet. The ground is quite sodden and boggy in areas, a little bit muddy. The grass hasn't had the chance to properly grow. And what do those golfers find? What they'd discovered through the winter, what had transformed their games, doesn't actually work out on the golf course. They are hitting fat shots and as a result also thin shots. How does that work? Well, the golfer, when he's playing through the winter on a mat, what happens? The golfer hits the ground a little bit too early, but on a little bit of a fluffy mat. It doesn't matter too much. The club heads just keeps carrying on into the back of the golf ball. The ball soars off and the golfer's not aware of where he's actually hit the ground. He's not aware that he's hit the ground right here before the golf ball. On the firmer mats, a similar thing. The golfer hits the ground too soon and the ball just pops up in the air a little bit as the club makes contact with the ground, and the club ends up hitting the ball nicely also. And again, that disguises the reality of the situation. That golfer is hitting the ground over here before the golf ball. It makes it impossible to make good strikes on the golf course. So come the spring, first rounds of golf, balls on the grass, what happens? The golfer hits the ground early. The ground's a bit wet. What does the club do? It digs into the ground. The ball just goes nowhere. There's more divot than there is ball. What happens next? That golfer thinks to themselves, oh dear, I better not hit the ground in the same way. And so on the next shot, they don't hit the ground at all and they thin the ball. So after having gone through the whole winter making good strikes, that golfer is in a panic and they are either hitting fat shots or thin shots. And obviously those don't feel good through the fingers, through the hands when the golfer is playing those shots. Feels horrible, their strike's gone and they're lost and they feel like their entire winter's practice has been wasted. So what is important to know here is that you have got to hit the ground. So hitting the ground too early is wrong, but not hitting the ground at all is just as wrong. So all that golfer needs to do is, instead of hitting the ground right here, needs to hit the ground a little bit more on the target side of the golf ball, such that he's hitting ball first, then ground. What controls that? How can a golfer achieve that? What feels can you put into your golf swing in order to facilitate that? The number one cause of hitting the ground too early is, first and foremost, and always will be, and it's what you see day in, day out on the range, is golfers sway in during the backswing. So that is the hips, the shoulders move away from the target during the backswing and never shift forwards again during the downswing. And so they are always hitting balls off the back foot. And when you do that, guess what? You hit the ground too early. So what do those golfers need to do? They need to have more weight forwards. And again, I think golfers never understand quite how much the weight has to be forwards. So if I were to put a number on this, I would say at setup, 55-45 forwards on the lead side, because the hip goes like so, an inch towards the target. Then at the top of the backswing, 60-40, 70-30 left arm parallel to the ground in the downswing, 80-20, 90-10 at impact, the hips keep going forwards, 95-5 at the end. There's practically no weight left on the trail side. Everything's gone forwards. This golfer has had the best opportunity to be able to hit on the target side of the golf ball. That golfer can be the true flusher of the golf ball. That's what you need to do. So in terms of the feel, I gave you very specific numbers there. In reality, the likelihood is, if you feel like 100% of your weight is forwards, you'll probably only just be standard or even not quite as much as the best players in the world. A really good visual for this, for how the hips move forwards during the swing, is world number 1, Scottie Scheffler. And you can see it flashing up now. You can really see how his hips move laterally towards the target. He's really shifting the hips forwards. He's transferring his weight through his golf swing. Guess what? Scottie Scheffler is not teeing up at the Masters this week thinking, ooh, I might hit a fat or thin shots here. He's going to flush them all day long. Okay, so you know you can have as much weight forwards as you like. It's going to help you make a better strike. So just at setup, just feel like everything's a little bit more forwards. How do you feel that? Well, you start to flex the left knee towards the toes like this. And you can see my hips going forwards. Get your handle to be angled forwards like so. So weights forwards, handles forwards. And from there, you try and keep it there throughout the swing. And again, I would do this by trying to make sure this left knee flexes towards the left toe here. So the weight stays forward through the backswing and then into the finish. And at the finish, make sure you can almost lift up your right foot. And if you can, you know you're on the right tracks. So if I play this shot here, I'm in position, weights fully forwards. I feel like it's 100% forwards almost. Left knee flexes towards the left toe. And I'm going to be able to lift up my trail leg at the end of the swing. Like so. And I did flush it. That was ball, then turf contact. If you can get your weight forwards enough, you can get away with so many other things in your swing. If you get your weight forwards enough, you will be able to hit ball, then ground. You will suddenly make good contact with the ball. The game will be much more fun for you once again, and you'll be ready for spring. Do it.